Imagine a single predator so deadly. Entire villages abandoned their homes in fear. A beast that outsmarted hunters, stalked humans in broad daylight, and claimed over 400 lives before it was finally stopped. This isn't a legend. This is the true story of the Champawat tiger, the most notorious man-eater in history. The year was the late 1800s in Nepal. Dense jungles stretched endlessly, and tigers ruled as the apex predators. But one tigress, lean, wounded, and desperate, would become something far more terrifying. After sustaining a severe injury to her jaw from a hunter's bullet, she could no longer hunt her natural prey. Deer, wild boar, and other animals became too difficult to kill, and so she turned to the easiest target of all, humans. At first, villagers thought it was an accident, a tiger attack here, a body discovered there. But the killings didn't stop. Instead, they grew bolder. She struck in the daylight, snatching farmers, women gathering firewood, even children walking to school. Entire regions in Nepal were thrown into chaos. Fear spread like wildfire. Villagers began to call her a demon in tiger skin. By the time the death toll climbed into the hundreds, the Nepalese government was desperate. Hunted relentlessly by soldiers and trackers, the tigress was finally pushed across the border, into the Indian district of Kumaon, near the village of Champawat. But the nightmare was far from over. Here, the tigress continued her rampage. Corpses were found daily. Trails of blood led straight into villages. In some towns, people were too terrified to leave their homes after dawn. Fields went untilled. Families starved. Life came to a standstill. The final death toll? More than 436 people. This was no ordinary predator. This was the deadliest man-eater the world had ever seen. In 1907, British officials called in a young hunter, Jim Corbett, a man born and raised in India who understood the forests better than most. Corbett wasn't just a skilled marksman. He respected tigers deeply. He never killed for sport, only when man-eaters threatened human life. When Corbett accepted the challenge, he knew this would be the hunt of his life. The Champawat tiger was cunning, experienced, and completely unafraid of humans. Corbett tracked her through dense jungles and villages where blood still stained the ground. He spoke with survivors, followed paw prints, and studied her movements. Then one day, the tigress struck again. A young girl, attacked and dragged into the forest. Corbett followed the trail. What he found was gruesome. Bones scattered in the underbrush, the unmistakable mark of the killer. He knew she was close. With the help of 300 villagers, Corbett set up a beat, a coordinated drive to push the tigress out into the open. Hours of tension passed, until finally, the striped shadow appeared. The Champawat tigress charged. Corbett raised his rifle. One shot rang out, striking true. The monster that had haunted thousands for decades was finally dead. When news spread, relief washed over the villages. For the first time in years, people could walk without fear. But Corbett never celebrated. To him, the tigress wasn't a monster. She was a victim of circumstance. Wounded by man, driven by hunger, forced into the role of a man-eater. Her story remains both tragic and terrifying, a reminder of what happens when the balance between humans and nature is broken. The Champawat tiger still holds the record as the deadliest man-eater in history, with 436 confirmed human kills. It's a story of survival, fear, and the thin line between man and beast. So the next time you think of tigers as majestic kings of the jungle, remember, under the right circumstances, even the most regal predator can become a nightmare.